Hello everybody, Iain Robson here. Welcome to the edition of the Newbie Farm. Alright, we're going to be going on today. First of all, you'll see that we have a little bit of a money situation going. After taking out all the mods that interfere with the soil mod, it takes a lot longer for your crops to mature. So keep that in mind. So that means that you have to take that in consideration, because you end up losing a lot of money over time if you don't do something specifically. Anyways, as you can see, I opened up the field, so I plowed all through the hedges on both sides now. So now it's just a slightly larger field. And I harvested a crop already because I was just kind of curious. I planted soybeans, and as you can see, I've already harvested that. So they'll get. Having said that is what I wanted to say, but I said given. Anyways, so we have 23,000 liters of soybeans, so we're going to go ahead and sell a load of soybeans right now. So the best place to sell soybeans is, of course, the freight yard. And if we look on our map, the freight yard is right here. So, perfect. So let's go ahead and take a little bit of a drive down to the freight yard. Perfect. Alright, so why am I going this way? I don't know. But we're going to turn around. I just realized I was like, that's not the way I want to go at all. Apparently we're going to get locked on that. Okay. That's fine. Alright, so we're going to take a little bit of a trip down to the freight yard, and hopefully that'll bring us back into the positives. We'll see how that works out. As you can see, I have my little New Holland chilling out there for the time being. I had to reset him, so. Alright, so is that going to be good enough? Let's go forward a little bit more. There, that's probably good. I'm going to record a course at the same time here just because, primarily because I only want to do this once. Not because I don't like driving, just because it's a long drive. So let's go ahead and actually start a course. There we go. That would help. So, yeah, it's interesting when you fast forward time 4 days. That's the difference. In the normal game, it's only like 1 day you fast forward time, and you only lose money for that 1 day. Whereas when you use the soil mod, the difference is you are fast forwarding time for 4 days. So you lose money for 4 days if you have no other source of income. And as of this moment in the game, we don't have any other sources of income. So basically, our money just goes down, which is interesting actually, because it does make it a slightly odd to try and it does make it slightly odd to try and recover and actually make money, because you have to progress time 4 days. So the funny thing is, this map, is fairly difficult as is, because you start with no money, or with no fields. So that's, hit 1 against you. And then the second thing that hits against you in this case is that you have to progress time 4 days in order to be able to have your crop ready. So it seems like having something in the interim is the word I want to use for some reason. So like, let's just stop and refill here, just because. There we go. And whenever courseplay needs to be refilled, it'll do the same thing, so this is good for us. So yeah, it seems like we need something to make money while our crops are growing. That seems like the best thing to do. And we don't have a whole bunch of options at this particular time, because farm shop. No, we're not going to the farm shops. This is the city. I haven't even actually seen this yet. I don't think it's been changed. Looks fairly nice. There's the farm shop. We're not going to the farm shop, so we can just keep going to the freight yard. One thing that I probably should think about is perhaps renting the chipper and a tractor that can handle the chipper once again, because there are lots of trees just lounging about, waiting to be cut down and chipped. That's my feeling, at least. Anyhow, So I was thinking of a couple things that might work in this context. I thought maybe apple trees could work because it's kind of cheaty in the sense that they don't actually respect the soil mod, so they just grow overnight basically, and you can harvest them every day. That's one possible thing to do. Another thing that crossed my mind was perhaps having a solar panel of some sort. That could be helpful as well. Or maybe getting animals. That could also be helpful, although you don't make money right from animals from the get-go. Alright, so this is the freight yard back in here. So, oh, that's having a bit of a hard time getting up the hill there. Alright, so here's a freight yard. Let's go ahead and drive up here. And we need to make sure we give enough space, so if we upgrade to something later on, we'll have enough space to make that turn still. So there we go, we're at the tipping point. Let's double check. Oh, it's a large tipping point. Thank you so much, Roy. Let's go ahead and tip this and see how much money we make. We'll probably make, you know, plus 1,000, 2,000 maybe. Oh, a little bit more than that. Okay, okay. This is good. It's a lot more than I thought we were going to make, to be honest with you, from soybeans. But that leads me to believe that perhaps soybeans is a good choice. Soybeans and canola, I believe, are your top choices, as per usual, basically, because you make the most from those. Alright, we'll take a little turn here. I'm just trying to stay on the right side of the road, so in case if ever there's a point where I have two vehicles on the road at the same time, they should be able to stay away from each other. But these roads are nice and wide, so it really doesn't make a difference. Well, I'm just sticking to that side just in case. If you notice, you see weeds that are brown. That means it's taken all the nutrients from the ground, and they've actually shriveled and died. Essentially, that's what it is. Which I thought was kind of interesting, actually, because that's something that they added into the soil mod. I can't remember if it's in 2013 or not, but as you can see, there's lots of brown plants around there. So basically, when you buy a field, you're probably going to have to cultivate it and then reintroduce a whole bunch of nutrients into the soil because the weeds have taken it all, basically. Which I thought was kind of an interesting addition to the soil mod. Ah, well. I did read up on the soil mod yesterday, actually, on my lovely bus trip to work. And one of the interesting things that came out was, remember when we sprayed the other day, and it was like AABB for herbicides? When you do the AA or BB, it's a double dose, as I suspected. So you basically do an extra, so there's more than just the 1 day of prevention, basically. Because if you just do A or B or C herbicide, it'll only be, I think it adds prevention for 1 day, as opposed to I think it's 3 days with the double dose. So keep that in mind. So basically, it's to your advantage to always spray a double dose, essentially. But at least that's what it seems like right now, to me at least. So, all right. The other thing that was a bit interesting was the fact that slurry, I was reading that slurry does not actually need to be cultivated in this version of the soil mod. As far as I remember, and I read it a couple times to verify, and it seems like slurry does not need to be cultivated after you spread it. However, manure needs to be plowed for optimal benefits, however you can actually cultivate it as well. The only difference is you won't get the 100% benefit if you just cultivate manure into the soil. You need to plow it to get the 100% benefit, which is interesting, actually, when you think about it, because it definitely adds, like, you know, gives you a reason to have a plow, basically, because half the time you never need a plow, if we're honest with ourselves here. Alright, there we go. So that was a little trip to the freight yard. So if we need to sell anything else to the freight yard in the future, and then we now have a lovely courseplay course which can do this, which is excellent. Make sure you take a nice little turn here, and again a nice little turn here. There we go, and line this back up. That should be good. Alright, and we'll call this sell freight yard. And then we want to sell, in this case, soybeans. Let's straw, grass, hay, silage, TMR, wood chips, fertilizer, NPK, pellets, lime, oats, windrow, rye, windrow, sunflowers, soybeans. There we go. I'm glad I went slowly through those. Alright, so let him do that. So that should be in the... Yes, it is. Good. So I think there's about 3 loads there, so we'll make a little bit of money from that. So we could technically... change out our... Not change out, but we could actually get a few trees now. A few apple trees or oats trees. What kind of trees are oats trees? Jeez. We could get a couple... Oh, that guy's not in the group? I thought he was. Let's put him in group 3 where he's supposed to be. We could get a couple pear trees is what I was going for. I don't know how that came out as oats, but it did. Someone suggested a while back that if you put the front loader on the tractor, it'll actually have enough weight to actually use some stuff, and whoever said that, you are correct. I don't use the small tractor enough to realize that you actually need to put like the front loader on. It basically acts as a weight, essentially, which allows you to use some of the implements. So having said that, what we're going to do is going to grab the cultivator there, which is right there, and we're going to go ahead and start cultivating that field. So what we should check first is to see whether it needs to have lime on it, because if it does, you actually need to cultivate the lime in. Let's double check that. I don't think it makes a difference. If memory serves, it doesn't make a difference whether you cultivate or plow the lime in, but it needs to be mixed into the soil a little bit. If you leave it just on the surface, it doesn't do anything really. Actually, that's not true. It does do stuff. All right, so we have 6.6 slight acidity. Looks like we're okay. So a little bit of weed starting, nothing too crazy. Okay, so we can get away with using this again. So one of the big things with pH is pH really affects. So we're at 6.2, so we actually should spread lime, because 6.2 actually decreases our yield by 10%. Believe it or not, 10%. How ridiculous is that? So what we'll need to do is spread some lime. As always with a soil mod, it's actually better to be high on the pH scale than low, because it really affects it. So if we go too high, if we go to like 7.5 pH, that's also 90%. So maybe we will just leave it for now, because should we spread lime or not? What we could do is we could just spread lime on the surface and just let it sit in that way. That's what we'll do. So we should probably cultivate first then, because basically what it is, we don't want, if we cultivate the lime in, it will actually work too well, and our pH will actually go through the roof. Yeah, but if we just spread it on the surface and not cultivate it in, our levels should be better. Should be being the keyword, of course. Alright, so as you can see, I left a little bit at the end here for the entrance to our fields. So we don't need to... let's do this, and of course I can't see it now. There we go. Alright, let's lower this down. Let's actually get the last little bit there. There we go. Perfect. It looks like this tractor can actually do this. I was worried that it wouldn't be able to. Let's just put it as fast as possible, which isn't very fast in this context, but it's as fast as possible. So as you can see, we've got $10,000 now, so our little tractor that has sold another load of soybeans, and I believe we have one left, I want to say, just barely. So oops, it was pretty good. It was a good idea to plant soybeans, because we actually needed that. We actually needed the money, basically. So I think what we can plant next is, if I Go this way. See, canola is only worth 400. Yeah, canola's worth 400. Actually, this is probably easier in this context. So we're looking for the highest one. So in this context, it looks like 666. So soybean seems to be the highest out of all of them. Again, I had the same problem as David Oldfield. I have no idea where I got this from, but it's helpful just to give an overview all at once. Alright, so let's turn around here. There we go. And are we gonna be enough? Yes, looks like we will be. Oh, this is one of the weird things I noticed, that if you start cultivating or plowing when you're not straight in this context, what actually happens is you end up being crooked the whole time. It's really interesting to see it happen. At least I thought it was interesting, because it really affects the way it works out. So, alright, so our course blade dude's probably coming back soon. Yeah, he's on his way back right now, and he's not going to have a full load right now. So we could, so this is a time where we could either A, buy some trees, which means we will need to change out our trailer as well, mind you, because we need a trailer that can actually pick up apples then. Let's take a quick little peek at the price of the trees. So we have apple, oh no, it's cherry trees, sorry, my apologies. Cherry trees might be a little bit too low, so if we use these ones, what will happen, I suppose, is that the sheep will be able to get them. Plums will probably be high enough. Oranges, I don't like oranges, I prefer apples personally. That's just me though. Apple trees are 1,500 though, so we could probably, technically cherry trees, would cherry trees be too? Do I have a kiosk for, that's cucumbers? I think I have a kiosk for, that's 5,000 though, yikes. We could, where is it? There is a sell point you can use, which I have no idea where it is now. Maybe it's not in placeables. It probably isn't. Here it is. That sells beer. I thought there was one other one. Is it a storage? No. Factory? No. What is it? There's... Is it in miscellaneous then? I know I have a sell point in one of these. Maybe it is placeables then. Maybe I'm just totally blind to it right now. Anyways, so I have a placeable that we could just sell it to, but we need to consider that as well. Because if we have apples and we can't sell them anymore, it's not very helpful. Wow, I really don't have it. So it should technically be in here. So here's a kiosk that will sell that. This kiosk will sell cherries, and that's 5,000. This kiosk will sell that. This accepts everything. Sale of that. This one for apples. Oh my goodness, there has to be. I know there is a sell placeable. I must have taken it out and not put it back in for some reason. That's my only guess, for whatever reason. Yep, oh well. We'll worry about it another time, basically. So, question is, what should we do? Should we get some trees? Or should we, because technically with the apple trees, we can only get, what's their limitation? So they're $1,500 a tree. So 4 trees maybe, I guess would be the limit. That's as much as we can get, really. Because if we try to get more, we're not going to have enough money to get more than 3 or 4, basically. And the other question is it going to pay off? Because, I don't know, I've been reading business books the last couple days. So, I'm thinking of what's referred to as ROI, which is return on investment. So is it worth the money to get the trees? Are they going to pay us back, essentially? They might. How much, I'm not sure, though. So, and the reason why I'm cultivating, of course, is because if I just drive now, that's fine. If I hire somebody, it's going to cost me money that I don't have right now. Well, technically I do have the money at this particular instant, but question of how long it's going to last. Not sure. Not sure. I must have taken out that sell point and gone from there, actually, so we'll see. I think what we will do is, because for us to be ready for any animals, we need to have silage, which we don't have. We need to have a mower of some sort, which we don't have. We could rent, technically. How much does it cost to rent a mower? Just maybe the front one. Probably wasn't too much. Yeah, so just for the front mower. So it's not too bad. We could theoretically do that and then rent the forage wagon at the same time. So that's a possibility. And that's a possibility to do it that way. So anyways, I think what I'll do is I will stop the episode for now, folks, because it'll just be more of me cultivating and babbling on about what we should do. And what I'll do is I'll put that mod back in, because I'm not sure how much it costs. Anyways, folks, that'll be it for me for today. My name's Iain Robson. It's been an episode of Farming Simulator 2015, coming at you from the Newbie Farm. I will catch you guys later.